Welcome to Relation Tales. Please like this video and subscribe Relation Tales. We're grateful for each and every one of you. Let us know where in the world you're tuning in from. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Let's begin. They say the worst betrayals begin with a whisper, not a scream. Mine started on a Wednesday morning in a sun-drenched kitchen in Brooklyn when my wife, Madeline, laughed too softly at her phone. We'd been married for 6 years. I was 32, a third-generation jeweler working tirelessly in a family-owned business passed down from my late grandfather. Maddie, at 29, owned a quaint indie bookstore cafe called Ink and Steam, a place where the smell of ink mingled with espresso. We weren't rich, but we were steady, or so I thought. That morning, I poured her coffee into the ceramic cup I'd hand-glazed for her birthday last year. She didn't even look up from her phone. "What's so funny?" I asked, sliding her cup across the counter. Her eyes darted up, startled, cheeks flushed. "Oh, nothing. Just a funny meme a customer sent me." "A customer's texting you memes?" I asked, casual, but there was a throb in my chest already. She smiled sheepishly. "It's not like that. He's just funny. He comes in every morning, orders a cappuccino, and sits by the window reading Hemingway." "Hemingway, huh? What's his name?" She hesitated a little too long. "Milos. He's Serbian. New in town." Something about the way she said his name was soft, intimate, like it had been said out loud in 100 different ways in her mind. "Milos," I echoed. "Sounds like a guy from a cologne commercial." She rolled her eyes. "Oh, come on, don't be that guy. He's just interesting. And lonely. He told me bookstores remind him of home." I let it go. I always let things go. But I noticed things after that. How she started dressing up more. Just subtly. Lip tint instead of balm. A spritz of her favorite jasmine perfume on weekdays. She used to save that for date nights. She started humming while making lattes, a sound I hadn't heard in months. One rainy Thursday, I dropped by Ink and Steam to surprise her with her favorite pastry from the French bakery on 9th. When I walked in, she was laughing, head tilted, lips parted, with a tall, blonde man whose back was to me. He reached across the counter and brushed a strand of her hair from her face. She didn't flinch. "Madeline," I said, voice firm. She turned like she'd forgotten I existed. Her smile faltered. "Oh, hey, Liam. This is Milos," she said quickly. "Milos, this is my husband." Milos turned. He was devastatingly handsome. Sculpted jawline, steel gray eyes, the kind of presence that drew people to him. He extended a hand. "Ah, the husband. Pleasure to meet you. Maddie talks about you sometimes." I shook his hand. Firm grip. Smug smile. No shame. I stood there for a minute too long, watching them. Something curled inside me. Not jealousy. Not yet. Just suspicion layered in heartbreak. That night, I asked her if she had feelings for him. She laughed. Too hard. Too loud. And told me Milos might be gay. "Don't be ridiculous, Liam," she said. "He's just cultured. He reads. He listens. You zone out every time I talk about books. At least he pretends to care." Pretends being the key word. I muttered. She narrowed her eyes. "Are you jealous?" "You." That stung. She knew I wasn't the sentimental type. I showed love by showing up, by supporting her financially when the cafe was slow, by fixing the plumbing at midnight. But apparently, that wasn't enough. A week later, she came home well past 10 p.m. Her hair was damp from the mist outside, her lipstick smudged. "You're late. We went for pizza." He's never had New York pizza before. I couldn't say no. I said nothing. She walked past me, tossed her coat over the chair, and added, "We talked about poetry. Milos loves Neruda. Did you know that?" "No. But I'm guessing you're not talking about poetry in that cafe backroom, are you?" She turned, fire in her eyes. "Say what you really mean, Liam. Say you think I'm sleeping with him." "I don't have to say it. I see it." The silence between us was louder than anything we'd ever screamed. 3 nights later, I followed my gut and stopped by the bookstore without telling her. I found him again. This time, in the alley behind the cafe, leaning in too close. His hand rested on her hip, hers on his chest. I didn't confront them. Not yet. I wasn't ready to explode. I needed more than suspicion. I needed proof. That night, while she slept, I took her phone from under her pillow and read everything. The messages made me physically sick. "I can't stop thinking about last night. You smell like home. He suspects something, but he's too prideful to dig deeper. Let's keep it quiet. I've never felt more alive." I exported them all. Screenshotted the photos. Dates, times, their rendezvous. She called me a villain in those texts. But the real villain was about to rise. I didn't plan revenge out of rage. I planned it out of calculation. I wanted her to feel what betrayal tasted like in slow, suffocating doses. She wanted romance. I was going to rewrite the story and make damn sure I was the last chapter in it. The morning after I read those texts, Madeline woke up humming again, oblivious. She kissed my cheek, told me she'd be late because of inventory night at the store, and walked out in a red dress I hadn't seen her wear in years. I watched her leave and made a single promise to myself. I wouldn't blow up. Not yet. She wanted fantasy? I'd give her a novel so twisted, she'd never recover from the ending. I started small. First, I withdrew half our joint savings and moved it to a separate account under the business's name. My lawyer advised me it was legal since I had funded 90% of it over the years. Then, I began quietly changing the passwords to our shared digital life. Netflix, cloud storage, even our smart fridge. She wouldn't notice until it was too late. This was my theater now, and I was setting the stage. Madeline had no clue I was building a fortress around myself. Every kiss she gave me out of guilt only hardened me further. She still thought I was too proud, too emotionally repressed to snoop. But I had every message, every late-night photo, every time stamped, "I miss your hands on me." Milos was cocky, but he was also sloppy. He'd emailed her from his personal address, milosvielikbooks@gmail.com, and once even sent a selfie with her in the background. A grainy one, but the date matched the night she claimed she was at book club. A week later, I walked into the bookstore cafe unannounced. Milos was behind the counter, steaming milk like he owned the place. Maddie was laughing at something he said. When she saw me, she flinched. "Hey, didn't know you were coming by," she said too brightly. "I brought some invoices. Thought we'd do lunch." Milos, ever the charmer, smiled at me. "Hello again, Liam. We were just discussing Sylvia Plath." "Ah," I said. "The woman who put her head in an oven. Charming choice." Maddie's face darkened. "That's not funny. I'm not joking." I stared at Milos a little too long. He looked away first. That day, I filed a formal report with the Department of Health, citing expired products at ink and steam. I knew their milk delivery had been late. I'd been watching. A surprise inspection was inevitable. 2 days later, Maddie came home furious. "We got cited," she yelled. "Somebody filed an anonymous report." I looked up from my book. "That sucks. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?" I raised an eyebrow. "Why would I care about your milk?" She didn't press. She couldn't prove a thing. And I wasn't done. In the following weeks, I sent every photo, every chat log, every suggestive emoji-laden conversation to my lawyer. I didn't want a divorce yet. I wanted full control of the narrative. I started going to therapy alone, documented her emotional withdrawal, her late nights, her verbal outbursts. I knew the judge would eat it up. But revenge, true revenge, wasn't just about legal wins. It was about taking back control of the person they turned you into. Madeline once told me I was boring, that she missed feeling desired. That Milos made her laugh. So I made a plan to rip laughter out of both their throats. One Sunday afternoon, I invited Maddie to brunch. She wore her hair up, a pale pink sundress hugging her waist. I hadn't seen her dress up for me in months. She thought I was softening, that I might be willing to look past it all. "I'm glad we're doing this," she said, sipping her mimosa. "Maybe we can fix this." "Maybe," I said, smiling gently. "But I need a promise from you. Anything. Cut off. Completely. No more contact. Block him. Delete him. Show me proof." She hesitated, then reached into her purse and pulled out her phone. She scrolled, tapped, and showed me the screen. "Blocked. Happy," she said. I smiled and reached across the table to take her hand. Thrilled. And that night, while she was in the shower, I unlocked her iPad, still connected to her iCloud. She had unblocked him 15 minutes after brunch. He bought it. Said he believes me. "You're amazing," Milos replied. "I told you. Men like that. They see what they want, not the truth." And then it came. "Let's record one more. For your page. I'll sneak the camera in. One more. One more video. One more betrayal." She didn't know I already had their first. Milos had a private subscription channel where he uploaded hidden camera confessionals. Amateur, shaky, but devastating. He cropped faces, but I knew that dress. That laugh. That mole on her thigh she once said was embarrassing. He filmed them. He posted her. He got paid. I stared at the screen for an hour, rage boiling beneath my skin. I made 2 phone calls. One to a hacker I knew from college, Ethan. He owed me for helping him cover up a shoplifting incident 10 years ago. The second to a lawyer specializing in revenge porn and non-consensual distribution of adult content. I told them both the same thing. It's time. It began with a takedown notice. The hacker, Ethan, was surgical. He scraped metadata, extracted files, and tracked IPs with the precision of a scalpel. Within 48 hours, we had a list of all the platforms Milos used to share content. Some private, some open, some borderline criminal. Many clips were behind paywalls, buried in encrypted folders. But one folder stood out. Velvet Wives, NYC series. He'd given her a nickname. A file series. My wife had become a chapter in a grotesque anthology. Are you absolutely sure she didn't consent? Ethan asked, his voice quiet over the phone. Positive, I said. She's manipulative, but not that foolish. She had no idea he was recording. Then I can take it all down and forward it to your lawyer. Good. Forward it to Milos, too. What do you want me to say? Tell him I know. Tell him this is the beginning. By Tuesday, Milos' channel was down. 3 of his anonymous pay pages vanished overnight. But that was just a warning shot. The real storm started when I released one small clip anonymously. Just audio. On a subreddit for exposed fake gurus. The voice was unmistakable. Milos, whispering sweet nothings to a married American woman, bragging that her husband's brain is too busy chasing diamonds to see what's happening in his own bed. The post exploded. People dissected the accent, the tone, the arrogance. Some claimed to know who he was. I kept uploading small things. Just enough to turn the online wolves loose. Within a week, someone found his real name, Milos Velik, and posted his college credentials. Turns out, he was a failed literature student from Novi Sad who came to the States on a cultural visa, which had expired 2 years ago. Immigration was tagged, reported, and soon, the pressure started tightening like a noose. Meanwhile, I played the dutiful, devastated husband in public. I began leaking anonymous details to influencers. A few screenshots of chats, blurred photos. I never revealed faces, never needed to. People love to fill in the blanks. I planted seeds in Facebook groups, in author circles, even on Yelp reviews. Milos was burning slowly. His name became radioactive. And all the while, Madeline had no idea. She still smiled at me in the morning. She still kissed my shoulder in passing. She thought I was forgiving. Weak. Recovering. But I was gathering fuel. The final blow came on the day of her Cafe's anniversary event. She had planned it for weeks. Readings, live music, free cupcakes for kids. I volunteered to handle marketing. I designed beautiful flyers and even paid for a modest local ad spot. What I didn't tell her was that I'd included a secret QR code on each flyer. One scan, and you were taken to Dropbox. A curated exhibit of her betrayal. Screenshots, voice memos, text logs, blurred clips. At 3 p.m., the event began. She wore a yellow sundress, hosting guests like the literary queen she'd always wanted to be. At 3:15, a mother waiting in line scanned the code and gasped. At 3:17, a group of NYU students huddled in the corner, whispering and pointing. By 3:22, Milos had vanished from the back room. Coward. At 3:30, I stepped up to Madeline in front of a group of volunteers and quietly said, "You should check your phone." She did. Her face turned to ash. "Liam, what did you?" "I told you. I'd be the last chapter." Her voice cracked. "You ruined me." I leaned close. "No, Madeline. You ruined yourself. I just read your book aloud." She staggered back, tears streaming. But I wasn't done. The final surprise came via courier that same evening. A thick envelope. From my lawyer. Inside, full documentation of her affair, notarized confessions from cafe staff who had seen the pair sneak into the back room, and a personal letter from me. I told her the truth. This isn't about Milos. This is about every time you lied to my face, every time you pretended I wasn't enough. I gave you stability. You spit in it. So now, I'll give you what you crave, freedom. The kind that comes with no money, no cafe, no name. You're alone now, and you deserve it. Madeline tried to fight. She claimed mental distress, harassment, emotional manipulation. But the internet never forgets. Screenshots don't lie. Even her closest friends backed away, confused by the evidence. And me? I was just getting started. Because I wasn't done until Milos left this country, and Madeline left mine. Milos tried to disappear. After the cafe disaster, he stopped showing up to ink and steam. He went off-grid online, deleted his pages, changed usernames. But I was ahead of him. Ethan tracked his last VPN trail to a shared apartment in Queens. And immigration? They were already investigating thanks to the anonymous tip I'd sent weeks ago, backed with screenshots of his content and expired documents. It didn't take long. One rainy Friday morning, 2 unmarked black SUVs rolled up to his building. I watched from across the street. He stepped out with a duffel bag, looked around, and froze. They moved fast. Milos tried to run. He didn't make it past the steps. Handcuffed, slammed into the hood. I didn't cheer. I just watched, quiet, satisfied. By noon, he was in federal custody, awaiting deportation. That night, Madeline showed up at my apartment, drenched and wild-eyed. They took him, she whispered. I know, I said flatly. She broke down in the hallway. You planned this. All of it. I didn't answer. I'm pregnant, she sobbed. I stared. Whose is it? I don't know. The silence was heavier than thunder. Then don't expect me to be anything, I said coldly. We'll do a test when it's born. Until then, stay away from me. She cried harder. You're a monster. No, I said. You made me into one. She left. And for the first time in months, I slept. The days blurred after she left my door that night, drenched and begging. I didn't answer her texts. I didn't reply to the email titled, Please, you're the only one I trust. Because she didn't want trust. She wanted safety. And I wasn't her safety net anymore. While she wrestled with scandal and silence, I rebuilt. Quietly. Intentionally. I took full ownership of the business after my older brother moved to Denver, invested in a second storefront uptown, and spent my nights sleeping better than I had in years. Madeline, on the other hand, she was unraveling. Word had spread. About Milos. About her. Some claimed they'd seen the clips. Some lied and said they hadn't. Her store traffic dropped by half. Her landlord gave her a 60-day notice. He didn't want attention from the health department or gossip-wielding moms sipping overpriced chai lattes. She sold her car, moved into a smaller apartment, posted a GoFundMe she later deleted, claimed she was harassed online, betrayed by a lover, and vilified by a vindictive ex. And then came the baby. A boy. She sent me a photo from the hospital. Just the infant's hand wrapped around her finger. No caption. Then another message. You deserve to know. I didn't respond. I waited 6 days. Let her simmer in her uncertainty. Then I messaged back. DNA test. Or nothing. She agreed. We did it privately. Swabs. A third-party courier. Results promised in 3 business days. On the 4th, I opened the email alone in my new office. Paternity probability, 0%. It was like watching the credits roll after a horror movie. I didn't feel rage or relief, just silence. A silence that fell clean. I forwarded the result to her with a single line. You can stop pretending now. Minutes later, she called. I didn't answer. She called again, then sent a long message. I know it doesn't change what happened, but I truly believe it was yours. I was scared and alone. I'm not asking for money. I just needed you to know I'm sorry. You didn't deserve it. Any of it. I read it twice, then deleted it. She'd had a choice. She chose Milos. She chose secrecy. She chose to mock me in private while smiling in public. And for that, she got everything she'd earned. Public disgrace, a reputation she couldn't fix, and a child she couldn't pin on someone else. And me? I moved on. Not in a rushed, rebound kind of way, but genuinely. I took time for myself, reconnected with old friends I'd ghosted during the madness, traveled alone, found peace in silence again. Months later, I heard that Madeline had sold Ink and Steam. It had rebranded under a new owner. No more poetry nights, no more wine pairings with essays on heartbreak, just coffee and silence. A fitting legacy, because the truth is, her story was always about escape. She just never imagined that I'd be the one to escape her. And as for Milos, last I heard, he was deported and banned from re-entry for 5 years. His channel, deleted. His name, blacklisted in every self-publishing group online. He had vanished into the shadows where he belonged. Sometimes I still walk past that old bookstore cafe. The windows look the same, but the soul is different. It's clean now, unburdened, just like me. Because I didn't just survive betrayal, I weaponized it and turned their fantasy into my closure.